Ayesha is married to Steph Curry, who you were just listening to is, of course, a major star for the Warriors.
Ayesha is married to Steph Curry, whom you were just listening to, and he is, of course, a major star for the Warriors. When Ayesha and Steph Curry decided to take a break from their daily routines to focus on their family and future, they thought it would be magical. Steph Curry has defended his wife Ayesha after receiving backlash, but instead of peace, one problem after another began to unfold, and the worst of them were legal troubles. I'm curious, what excites you about crypto? What do you think its potential is? I think we're obviously at the beginning. What started as small disputes quickly turned into major controversies, lawsuits, and financial battles that shook their carefully built empire. Join us as we dive into the latest news about Ayesha Curry's sentence being finalized and why it's bad for Ayesha and Steph Curry. Ayesha Curry's story is often told as one tied to her famous husband, NBA superstar Steph Curry. To the world, she is Steph Curry's wife, the woman standing beside one of basketball's greatest players. But there is much more to Ayesha than the title of a basketball wife. She is a woman with dreams, talent, and ambition, a name in her own right. Their love story began in the most innocent of places, a church youth group in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was 2003 and Ayesha was just 14 years old. Steph, a year older, was just another cute boy that every girl in church seemed to have a crush on. She thought nothing of it at the time, writing him off as a typical teenage heartthrob. They were nothing more than acquaintances, two kids growing up in the same community, unaware that their paths would cross again in a way neither of them could have imagined. 5 years later, fate intervened. Ayesha had moved to Los Angeles, chasing her dreams of acting and modeling. Steph was on the rise as a basketball player, already making a name for himself in college. When he visited LA for the ESPY Awards in 2008, he decided to reach out to Ayesha. She had always promised herself she would never date an athlete. Her parents had warned her about the lifestyle, and she wanted no part of it. But something about Steph felt different. Reluctantly, she agreed to meet him. Their first date was far from glamorous. Ayesha picked Steph up in her old Astro van, and instead of fancy restaurants or red carpets, they spent the day exploring Hollywood Boulevard, sipping chai lattes, and visiting Madame Tussauds. She expected an arrogant jock, but what she found instead was a kind, funny, and humble guy. He made her laugh, and more importantly, he made her feel comfortable. Still, their story wasn't the perfect fairy tale. Their first kiss was an awkward moment. Steph leaned in mid-conversation, catching Ayesha off guard. She instinctively pulled away, only to realize too late what was happening. Despite the rocky start, their relationship grew quickly. Ayesha was the first to say, "I love you," a moment that left her vulnerable and uncertain. Steph hesitated at first, admitting he felt the same but wanted to be sure before saying it back. Ayesha left that day in tears, but a few months later, surrounded by family, Steph finally whispered those 3 words in her ear. By 2010, Steph was ready to propose. He chose a location rich with meaning, the driveway of Ayesha's parents' home, where they had shared their first kiss. With her family secretly watching from the window, he got down on one knee and asked her to be his wife. She said yes, and a year later, they stood in the very church where they first met, vowing to spend the rest of their lives together. From the outside, their love story seemed like a dream, young, successful, and deeply in love. In 2012, they welcomed their first child, Riley, who quickly became a social media sensation. By 2015, their family had grown with the birth of their second daughter, Ryan, and 3 years later, their son, Cannon, completed the picture-perfect family. By 2010, Steph was ready to propose. He chose a location rich with meaning, the driveway of Ayesha's parents' home, where they had shared their first kiss. With her family secretly watching from the window, he got down on one knee and asked her to be his wife. She said yes, and a year later they stood in the very church where they first met, vowing to spend the rest of their lives together. From the outside, their love story seemed like a dream, young, successful, and deeply in love. In 2012, they welcomed their first child, Riley, who quickly became a social media sensation. By 2015, their family had grown with the birth of their second daughter, Ryan, and 3 years later, their son, Cannon, completed the picture-perfect family. While Steph dominated the basketball world, Ayesha was quietly building her own empire. In 2016, she published her first cookbook, The Seasoned Life, which became a bestseller. She started a cooking show, opened restaurants, and launched a lifestyle brand. Ayesha was no longer just Steph Curry's wife. She was Ayesha Curry, a chef, an entrepreneur, and a brand of her own. Through it all, the Currys maintained their image as the golden couple, faithful, devoted, and untouched by the scandals that often plagued the sports world. But as their fame grew, so did the pressure. Behind the carefully curated social media posts and heartfelt anniversary messages, challenges began to surface. But more on them later. The cheating rumors. First, it was the whispers of infidelity. A Latina Instagram model claimed to have proof that Steph Curry had been unfaithful, and while the accusations never held up, they were enough to shake the image of the NBA's golden couple. The timing was brutal. Ayesha had just announced her pregnancy with their third child. It was supposed to be a time of joy, but instead, she found herself caught in a media storm, forced to defend her marriage against relentless speculation. The story took on a life of its own, even though no real evidence surfaced. The damage was done. Social media dissected every moment of their relationship, looking for cracks. The fact that Steph had always been seen as one of the NBA's good guys didn't help. It only made the rumors more sensational. Fans weren't just questioning his faithfulness, they were questioning whether the perfect image Ayesha and Steph had built was ever real to begin with. For Ayesha, the attacks felt deeply personal. She had built her public persona around faith, family, and loyalty. To be painted as the naive wife of a cheating superstar was an insult she couldn't ignore. But when she tried to defend her husband, the narrative only grew messier. In 2019, during an emotional conversation on Red Table Talk, Ayesha opened up about the insecurities she had faced as a woman in the shadow of an NBA star. She admitted that she struggled with the constant attention Steph received from other women, and how at times she wished she got more of that kind of attention herself. The statement, meant to be an honest reflection of her personal struggles, was twisted into something else entirely. Critics mocked her, accused her of being ungrateful, and even suggested she was revealing cracks in her marriage without realizing it. Then came the infamous blonde wig moment. Ayesha, always experimenting with fashion, posted a photo of herself in a platinum blonde wig. Fans were confused. Some even mistook her for a different woman. The internet exploded with jokes, and suddenly, the harmless hair transformation was being linked to the cheating rumors. Is Steph out here with blondes? Is this her way of sending a message? People speculated. The innocent post became yet another reason for strangers to dissect her marriage. But the worst was yet to come. Just when it seemed like the rumors were dying down, a new, even wilder accusation surfaced. Ayesha and Steph weren't just dealing with cheating scandals, they were allegedly in an open marriage. The internet ran with it, creating theories that their perfect image was nothing but a front for a relationship filled with mutual affairs. Some claimed Steph's alleged infidelity was just the tip of the iceberg, that Ayesha too was stepping out on their marriage. But the lawsuit was not about past success. It was about what happened after their partnership ended. Flutie Entertainment claimed that when Ayesha terminated their agreement in 2019, she had deliberately slowed down or stalled projects they had developed together. Two key ventures were mentioned in the lawsuit: Homemade, a business that focused on home meal kits and lifestyle products, and Yardy Girl, a production company designed to expand Ayesha's reach in the entertainment industry. Flutie Entertainment accused Ayesha of denying them their rightful share in these businesses, and even taking a top employee from their company to work directly with her. They claimed that after years of effort, they had been shut out of the empire they helped build. Paris incident. Fast forward to the summer of 2024, and the Curry family found themselves at the center of an unexpected controversy in Paris. What should have been a time of celebration quickly turned into a tense and emotional moment, one that left Ayesha Curry shaken and the internet buzzing with questions. Steph Curry had just helped Team USA secure a historic gold medal at the 2024 Paris Olympics, a crowning achievement in his legendary career as one of basketball's greatest players. His presence at the Olympics was highly anticipated, and he delivered on the court. But off the court, another story was unfolding, one that had nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with a sudden clash between Ayesha and the Paris police. After the basketball event, Ayesha, carrying her newborn son Kaes, was walking back to their vehicle with her mother-in-law Sonia Curry, her 6-year-old son Cannon, and family friend and NBA star Draymond Green. The group was relaxed, enjoying the atmosphere of the Olympic Games, unaware that their path was about to be blocked, both literally and figuratively. As they approached their car, French police officers stopped them, enforcing a security blockade. The officers informed them that the street was temporarily closed for security reasons, meaning they could not access their vehicle. At first, the Currys tried to reason with the officers, seeking an alternate route. But things quickly escalated when, in the middle of the exchange, one of the officers allegedly reached out and touched baby Kaes on the head. That moment changed everything. Ayesha, who had been holding her son tightly, was visibly shaken. Sonia Curry was the first to react, raising her voice in protest. She was seen passionately confronting the officers, making it clear that the interaction was unacceptable. Her words were sharp and direct. "You will not sleep well. Don't touch the baby. Don't touch